And we welcome you back to Newsmax Now. I'm John Bachman, a Pennsylvania congressman now facing federal racketeering charges. Chaka Fattah and 4 associates were indicted on 29 charges, including bribery, money laundering, and bank fraud today. According to the indictment, Fattah and the others borrowed about $1 million from a supporter back when Fattah was running for the mayor of Philadelphia in 2007. They disguised that money as a loan to a consulting company. Fattah is also accused of using $23,000 from his campaign funds to repay his son's student loan debt. Today, Fattah strongly denied any wrongdoing and says he has no plans to step down. Religious groups and churches are speaking out against the recent decision by the Boy Scouts to allow gay scout leaders. The Mormon Church says it is, quote, deeply troubled by the move, and the church will need to re-examine its century-long ties to the Boy Scouts. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church says it's concerned about the practical implications of allowing gay scout leaders, but it also remains committed, though, to its relationship with the Scouts. An 8-year-old boy is now the youngest American to ever receive a double hand transplant. Zion Harvey lost his hands and feet from an infection. A 40-person medical team performed the 11-hour surgery earlier this month at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And Windows 10 is out today. It's the first new Microsoft operating system in almost 3 years. It's designed to work across multiple platforms, including phones, laptops, and desktops. Windows 10 has received mostly positive reviews, and it's available for free for those already using Windows 7 or 8. Time now for our roundtable. Sarah Palin is back, kinda. Donald Trump was talking about the Mama Grizzly on MamaGrizzlyRadio.com. Mr. Trump was asked by Kevin Scholla, the host of something called the Palin Update, if he would ever consider the former Alaska governor for a cabinet post in a Trump administration.
I mean, I'd love that because she really is somebody that knows what's happening, and she's a special person. She's really a special person, and I think people know that, and she's got a following that's unbelievable. I still have people saying, oh, get Sarah's support, no matter where I go. Everybody loves her.
Well, it's a great place to start today's roundtable. Let's bring in our guest, columnist for the Fiscal Times, Liz Peek, and managing editor of the shark-tank.com, Javier Manjarres. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Javi, let's start with you. Is Sarah Palin still a valuable ally to have backing you if you're running for president?
Absolutely. Like Mr. Trump said, she has a huge following, a big base support. Anyone that gets her support usually does well, and it helps with fundraising. So I think if she got behind Donald Trump, it would suit him well. But we'll see if that actually happens.
Well, Liz, what do you think? I mean, Sarah Palin, a lot of folks like to dismiss her after what happened during the 2008 presidential election. And some of her star-picking ability seems to have been on the wane as well. But do you think she would be a valuable ally out there on the stump for any of these presidential candidates?
Look, she does have a big following, but for Donald Trump, it would be just sort of more of the same group that's already very enthusiastic about his candidacy. What he needs to do is broaden his appeal, and certainly adding Sarah Palin to the roster would not do that. I also think that the criticisms of Sarah Palin, who, by the way, whose polling has sort of disintegrated over the last year, has to do with her intellectual acuity, etc., not whether she has a lot of people following her on Facebook or something. So I think for Donald Trump to talk about her in a cabinet post, I mean, what cabinet post? Treasury? I don't think so. You know, I mean, I think it's a little bit of yet another Donald Trump effort to kind of excite a group of people, and you know, and here we are talking about it. So
John,
pretty much.
Yeah. Well, John, I disagree because the people who are supporting Donald Trump right now are across the board. Sarah Palin excites the conservative base. You're seeing support for Donald Trump from the middle, even some Democrats and a lot of Republicans. So I beg to differ there.
All right, well, let's listen to something else that Trump said during that same interview, comparing himself to Sarah Palin and the way they both have been attacked by the media.
I am who I am. I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, I'm running, I'm in first place. People love me. And you know what? I've been very successful. Everybody loves me. By a lot, it seems, according to all the polls. I'm very different than you would think. Right now I'm fighting because I'm #1 in the polls by far, and I'm being attacked on all sides.
Well, there are some news stories out there, Liz. It sounds a little bit like Trump is playing the victim, but he has been almost accused of rape, also accused of lying under oath by the New York Times and calling a breast-pumping attorney disgusting. Will these kinds of media smears actually work, and will it ultimately be what takes down Donald Trump?
I think what will take down Donald Trump is that he is not a seasoned politician. He says whatever comes into his mind, as he has done in some of these instances that you're referencing. I mean, look, I think when you are running for president and you're getting a tremendous amount of publicity and going after every bit of publicity you can, you're fair game. I mean, look, we're going after Hillary on things she says. Why would it be a media smear, so to speak, to go after Donald Trump? Look, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I don't think he is a conservative. I think he's an opportunist. He's someone who's given money to Hillary Clinton in the past, been a big fan of single-payer health insurance, which I think is a catastrophe. So, look, this is a media event.
Well, we'll have to see how those types of comments and those types of statements and decisions by Trump in the past will come up during the debate, which is getting ever so close. We'll talk about Trump's decision also to not have a debate coach. Will that work for him, or will it blow up in his face? Liz Peek, Javier Manjarres coming right back with us right after this. And we welcome you back to our roundtable, part 2. Liz Peek joining us from the Fiscal Times, also a managing editor of shark-tank.com, Javier Manjarres. Guys, we were talking about Donald Trump. He says he's just going to continue to be himself, even on the debate stage, not going with a traditional debate prep like most of the candidates certainly are. You know, at the same time, he's had some success by just being Donald Trump. But on the other hand, it's going to be easy, I think, Liz, for any of these candidates to just bring up things like Donald Trump supporting Hillary Clinton in the past, supporting single-payer health care. Do you think this is a wise move by Donald Trump not to have a seasoned debate coach helping him out?
I honestly cannot imagine Donald Trump spending the hours and hours that most of these candidates do crafting careful responses, etc. That's so completely not his style. And look, I don't think people would like it. I mean, I think what they like about him is that he fires both barrels at the same time and sort of waits to see what happens. Look, I don't think he's going to come across in the debates as anything but a blustery guy who gets a lot of attention because he's unafraid to speak whatever comes into his mind. We'll see. I do think Giuliani was right. It's going to really increase the audience for the debates. Whether anyone else will get a word in edgewise or get any attention, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, there are rules in this debate, Javier. I mean, can Donald Trump continue this? He has had success of being his own guy, but will it translate onto the debate stage?
I think so. I think he, like Liz said, you know, he's going to be himself. He is his own best enemy. I mean, his own worst enemy, and he's also his biggest asset. You know, this is why he's the top of all the polls, because of Trump being just himself. If he wavers from that, if he tries to be very politically correct or in any which way, the American public will see that, and they're going to frown upon that, and you'll see him drop in the polls. He has to be very careful in how he attacks the others, because he will attack the others, especially Rubio and Trump. And Jeb Bush on immigration reform. He will go on the attack. How they attack him, and Liz is right, they're going to go after him on single payer and supporting Democrats over the years. So I'm wondering to see how he's going to answer that question.
I wonder if he does what you just did there and mistakenly called Jeb George. That might come as well. There are two guys, though, who are not supporting Donald Trump, and those are the Koch brothers right now. Politico reports the Koch political operation is denying Trump access to their state-of-the-art data and refusing to let them speak at their gatherings of grassroots activists and major donors. Not this, I think this is Bill Koch, though, not this particular Koch, the other two Koch brothers. But Liz, let me ask you, Trump doesn't need the Koch's money, but he could be at a disadvantage because of all the data they have collected and their political network through these grassroots groups. Is this going to hurt him in the long run here?
It may hurt him, but let's remember, the Kochs have spent an enormous amount of money vetting and talking to candidates for the last couple of years. They're not in this for fun. They are very seriously intent upon putting a Republican in the White House, and I cannot imagine that they would be interested in backing Donald Trump because they won't consider him a serious, accredited candidate. And what I mean by that is with serious policy background on a lot of issues that are important to them, for example, energy. So I'm not at all surprised, and it seems to me a little hypocritical for Donald to be very dismissive and even critical of people wasting time, as he has said, on consultants and debate coaches and things like that, but also want the analytics. In other words, you're either a professional candidate and kind of going the traditional route and willing to play by the rules and kind of do the homework that you need to do, or you're not. And he's basically saying, no, I don't need that. I'm the Donald, and I can go on my own. So I don't, you know,
it could be a tough row to hoe. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's see how far he gets, and I'm sure at the end of the day, if he makes it to the very end, which a lot of people are skeptical of, especially Liz, I think you'll see the RNC and the Republican Party, as well as the Kochs, back him.
What choice will they have?
What
Guys,
choice
we
will
also
they have?
real quickly want to talk about a minute left to go about this new effort by GOP senators to defund Planned Parenthood. Senator Rand Paul introduced legislation to cut $500 million in annual funding for Planned Parenthood. Liz, this time you've got Deb Fischer, a Republican senator from the Midwest, and also Joni Ernst from Iowa, another Republican senator, leading the charge here. Do things change this time when you don't have 8 white old men talking about women's health issues? You got 2 women out there in front of this issue along with the others?
I don't really think that's going to make the difference, to be honest. I think what makes the difference here is that these videos that have surfaced are just repugnant. And I don't think you have to be a particular conservative or on the one side or the other of the abortion debate to think that this is really pretty awful stuff that's going on.
Well, Javier, we've talked in the past about how a lot of Republicans still cringe based on the historical problems the party has had dealing with these types of issues. But do you see this as a way for the GOP to rally the conservative base of the party and get them out to the polls? And a lot of them just stayed home in 2012.
Right, absolutely. These videos have changed the dynamic of this issue and the election. I mean, these videos are appalling to everyone, whether you're independent, Republican, or Democrat. I think the Republicans are smart to put women out there to drive this message, but I think it's going to it transcends across all political party lines. This is a big deal, these videos.
It does appear to be a big deal and gaining more and more traction every day. Liz Peek, Javier Manjarres, thanks so much for being with us for our Wednesday Roundtable.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Always a pleasure. Now we've heard from our panelists. We want to hear from you. We want to know about who you think is going to be the GOP nominee in 2016. Right now, go to newsmaxpolls.com and weigh in. Again, newsmaxpolls.com.